Or declare your independence with Ernest Hancock.
Oh, the heat is on here on Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock from Phoenix, Arizona, here in the beautiful studios of Freedoms with an S, freedomsphoenix.com, where, oh yeah, the Freedom Summit, freedomsummit.com. Make sure you guys go check that out. A really good show here. Every year we do that. Now we got Meg McLean on, and you know what she is? Let me tell you what she is. She's the poster girl birthday babe for the TSA protesting. Poster girl birthday babe. Here, let's take a look. See, poster girl. Now, what we're going to do is, Meg, what I want to try and get from you now before Thanksgiving, because let me tell you what's going to happen. A lot of people are going to do a lot of things, and I'm of the opinion that the big bad guys, they would love for something to go wrong. They would love to be able to, there's going to be some false flag thing, or there's, here we got Abdullah, on the ground, and we groped him, and he had a jock full of whatever, okay? This is the kind of stuff that we can expect. When something happens, which I suspect something will, they're going to go, well, see, what do you think about that now, Meg? And do you have a response? Because they're going to look to you for some kind of response on this.
Well, I'm just going to tell them looks like they failed again because, for all the stuff they put us through, it's just because they fail every time. So they try and make up for it by making more security. But all that does is give people an opportunity to come up with a new idea, or for them to come up with an opportunity of a new idea. I think it was last week, somebody tried to send a printer cartridge that, exploded or something like that. So they made a new rule that no printer cartridges are allowed on air flights anymore. And they told me when they were kicking me out that was a new thing that they were starting that day. So, every day they just come up with something new because they just suck at what they do.
Yeah, I just can't imagine them coming up with any kind of a mechanism that if I was intent on doing something, I'm pretty creative. And a lot of the people we associate, human beings are very creative. I don't see how they never address the reasons why you would have these kinds of terrorist inclinations. They never address. I give you a good example. Here's a really good example. When the Oklahoma City bombing happened in 95, I think it was 95, when that happened, there was L. Neil Smith is a prominent science fiction writer, a libertarian guy, has a lot of great books, and he said big government did it. And, the day it happened, he goes, big government did it. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, look, if it's domestic terrorists that are, mad about, the militias or whatever, and they're mad about the abuses of big government intruding into their lives and infiltrating their social and economically and socially engineering them or whatever, it's big government's fault. If it's foreign terrorists or whatever that are mad because big government's over there with M16s on their street corner, big government did it. Big government did it because they wanted to get a budget increase, is big government. He goes, so no, whatever your reason, I can tell you how you stop it. Get rid of the big government. That's the problem, and I can see that this is where this is going, and I'm wondering if they're ever going to address that. They're ever going to back off without there being what? How do you think that they will react to this? We'll find out a little bit tomorrow, meeting with the TSA and so on, but how are they going to react? Are they going to, oh, sorry, Meg is right, and we won't, we'll just frisk the ugly girls? I don't know, what's their response going to be?
I'm not quite sure, but we're actually promoting right now an opt-out day for the heaviest travel day, of the year. And so when they see how many people are going to be saying no to this, they're going to realize that the people don't want this. It's something.
Since when do they care?
For me personally, there's been such an outcry just about my case, and I don't feel what I did was anything particularly huge or special, but when more people start doing it, it's going to stall, slow down, even shut down, certain security areas. And so it's going to be too hard for them to continue doing business like this.
This is what I fear. Tomorrow, they when we meet with them, or it's Thursday, they will come up with a charge that we are domestic terrorists because we are advocating for the slowing down of air. They're going to blame us. Anybody that does anything, advocating this opting out thing, well, you're guilty of domestic something. And the whole, so I can see where that's going. I need to ask them, that very thing. I go, if individual human beings we share this information with and they choose to opt out and it shuts down the airports, whose fault is that? Is that us? Is that you? Are we allowed to dissent? You see, this is my point. Are we allowed to dissent? And if they take that position, and we're going to be charged with some kind of terrorist, domestic crime, de la, whatever they can fill in the blank with, well, that kind of gives us our answer.
Yeah, but my biggest fear right now is that just to avoid that, they're going to try and make these things mandatory. And so if you don't do it, you're automatically, booted out of line and not allowed to fly. And that's the major concern right now, is stopping this before it gets any further, because with the new enhanced pat-down procedures, that's just another step to encourage people to go into these machines so that they can avoid that, invasive pat-down or molestation, as I think it is. Just because the person's wearing a badge, it doesn't matter to me.
Well, do they see that there's a third option that I get the impression that they aren't even contemplating, is that people just don't fly anymore. They just say, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm good. It's called Skype. I'll go.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I feel bad that people are put in that position where they have to, decide, am I going to travel? Because you shouldn't be cut off from the world like that. It's taking such a huge step backwards in advancement in our society. The airplane really has revolutionized the way we do business and how we interact with the rest of the world. I'm living here on the East Coast, comfortable with it because I know that my family is just a plane flight away. But, once that option's gone for me, how am I going to live like that? I can't just live in a world where I'm, shut off from everything. And so it's important to fix this before it becomes, a mandatory thing where you're forced to take nude photos or you're forced to be touched, which I guess it's reaching that point, and we need to stop it now. Well,
let's go ahead and talk about the people that are on your side or just consider you a nuisance at the airport. While this was going on, were there any shows of solidarity? Or did people give you a thumbs up? They kind of, just avoid it. I don't want to have anything to do with it. Mm. And what kind of age bracket was that? Give me some kind of a feeling for what was going on.
Well, I couldn't see a lot of the passengers going by while this was all going on because there were so many, TSA agents and police officers circling me. So when I did look up and see people, they were just sort of staring at me, but not in like a concerned way or a what's going on way. It was just sort of like, so that's there. And I think because they were trying to bring so much attention on me, it was more like a warning to people, like, just keep your head down. Don't make any facial expressions that could be viewed wrong. Just go along to get along, and this won't happen to you type thing.
I remember a lot of times as 9/11 happened and we had the Patriot Act and we're going into war and all this. I've been on radio all this last decade, and I'll tell you the one thing that a lot of people needed to know. And I'm going, you want to know how we got to Nazi Germany? You want to know, you're in junior high and you start hearing about the Holocaust. You start seeing people just voluntarily getting on the cattle car. They go into the showers. They get, and you have to, even as a young kid, you ask the question, well, why didn't they fight back? Why would they? They're going to be killed anyway. Why? What? You want to know how it happens? This is how it happens. This is the progression. This is the next step into exactly that. And the conditioning that they have for all of us to put our head down and just move along, nothing to see here. This is how we get to a police state. And who do we look to stand up? Has it been, who are all these people that are coming out? It's young men and young women. It's not, the older generation. They're going, oh, if it saves one life, or yes, and it's great, and I love it, and I comply because I don't want to die. So I see where this is going, and Meg, I just want to thank you for sharing this with us. And being,
Thank you very much for having me.
You know, it's not that you're expected to take any responsibility other than what you do for yourself. And a lot of people put a lot of attention on you because you just happen to have been in this situation, and Free Talk Live got you a big, giant woohoo going for this last week. But I tell you, I don't expect you to carry the water for me or anyone else. You did it for yourself. You're to be commended for that. But you are due our thanks. Thank you very much. And happy birthday!
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks, Meg. We'll talk to you soon. We'll give you more information tomorrow on what happens with the TSA and the Phoenix Police here at Freedom's Phoenix Workshop. And whether we make it to the show tomorrow, we'll tell you all about it. You stay right there.